What happens when the might of the United States military is turned inward, deployed not against a foreign enemy, but onto the streets of a major American city? A tense congressional hearing exposes a fiery confrontation over the deployment of active duty Marines to Los Angeles. A California congressman, himself a veteran, grills the Secretary of Defense, alleging the operation is a costly political stunt that endangers national security and disrespects the troop. The Secretary defends the action as a necessary response to protect federal officers under assault. This is a battle of narratives, pitting local control against federal authority and public safety against political theater. The question is, where does the truth lie in the fog of political war?
Mr. Secretary, I just got word that Senator Padilla from my great state of California was physically assaulted and arrested for attending Secretary Noem's press event. The mere fact that he showed up, he was forcibly removed. Is this how you would treat a member of Congress who attends your press event, whether invited or not?
Well, I've been here for 5 hours, sir. I don't know about that.
I'm just asking, would you have me forcibly removed from your press event
I'm not
if I
going to
walked in?
speculate on a hypothetical. I'm sure there's more context.
I'll take that as a yes. Mr. Secretary, does the DoD have any plans to allow the military to follow the orders of President Trump when his order violates the Constitution? Yes or no?
I reject the premise of that question, which is that President Trump is ordering unconstitutional orders.
I'll take that as a yes as well. Mr. Secretary, the deployment of active duty Marines to California is incredibly disruptive to the lives of service members who are being drawn into the president's publicity stunt. And I want to know how you're planning to take care of these troops. So, will you commit to sending my office and this committee a detailed plan on how you plan to house and feed the 700 Marines and potentially thousands of Marines?
What's disruptive is when concrete blocks are thrown at the heads of ICE officers. And so we're proud that National Guardsmen and Marines have responded in real time to help defend those federal law enforcement officers.
So do you have a plan? Do you have a plan to house?
Not only do we have a plan, but it's been a focus of mine. I've held a riot shield before in a riot. I recognize what it means to respond in real time without enough time.
Mr. Secretary, will you get me that plan?
Everything they can as fast as they can, and we have a plan for that.
Mr. Secretary, I reclaim my plan. Chairwoman, LA Mayor Bass stated that the area placed under the recent curfew is around 1 square mile. Is that the same area where service members will be deployed?
Service members are in Los Angeles to defend law enforcement, ICE agents, and facilities.
So essentially you're telling me that American people and the American people that a 1 square mile block of LA, and for the record, LA County is over 4,700 square miles, warrants the deployment of 700 Marines and the federalization of 4,000 California National Guardsmen. You testified earlier that you will send in the military to protect local law enforcement. Did LAPD Police Chief McDonnell ask you for your help?
I read reports on a regular basis.
Did he ask for your help?
From ICE agents
I'll take that as a no.
More grateful.
Did LA Sheriff Luna ask for you to send in the military, Mr. Secretary? Did LA Sheriff Luna ask you to send in the military? Yes or no?
I don't work for the LA Sheriff, sir.
Well, you said you sent them in to support the military, but they didn't even ask for your, to support law enforcement, but they didn't even ask for your help. Have you been to Los Angeles in the last 7 days?
My team is, from the top down, focused on making sure Los Angeles
I'll also take that as a no. How did you arrive at the decision not to coordinate with local law enforcement and the governor's office on the initial deployment?
It would be great if the governor attempted to actually coordinate instead of grandstand.
All right, so I believe you're secretly deploying troops to an area without coordinating with local officials is somehow not disruptive and to the logistical and operational conditions on the ground. You agree with that?
I would need you to repeat the question, sir.
Does the department plan on coordinating with Governor Newsom's office on local law enforcement going forward, Mr. Secretary?
We've coordinated with local law enforcement quite well, but the governor's been an obstruction to that, of course.
All right, Secretary Hegseth, this political stunt, and by your own admission, is expected to cost the American taxpayer at least $134 million and will disrupt the lives of hundreds and potentially thousands of active duty Marines and 4,000 National Guardsmen. That's $134 million and thousands of personnel diverted away from critical missions in the Indo-Pacific, where China is rapidly expanding from Europe, where NATO needs US support amid growing Russian aggression, and from CENTCOM, where tensions are escalating so critically that your own General Kurilla had to cancel all his testimony in Congress today. Your redirection of combat-ready troops from real-world national security threats to manage a domestic protest is gross mismanagement and a slap in the face of service members whose lives are disrupted throughout this event. As a veteran myself, it's a disgrace, and you should be ashamed. I yield back.
The gentleman's
Madam
time
Chair,
has expired.
Madam Chair, can we add into record, please, that the gentleman from California has just stated that it is okay to have 1 mile of complete criminality in LA so long as it doesn't cover the 4700.
That was not my statement.
Madam Chair,
that
Mr.
it's
Mills,
okay.
Mr.
The
Mills
gentleman
has
is
not
gentleman
been
is
recognized.
This is absolutely
Either gentleman,
You
either
can't
gentleman is
do not
recognized.
have the right
The-
you have not been
Chair-
recognized
Either
by
gentleman
the
is
chair.
recognized. The chair now
neither have you.
recognizes
Controls
the
the time.
congressman
And neither
from
have you.
Louisiana, Mr. Higgins.
The confrontation we've just
Secretary, I just got
witnessed
word
is
that
more than a
Senator
simple policy
Padilla from
debate.
my great state
It's a
of
microcosm
California
of a
was
deeply
physically
fractured political
assaulted and
landscape,
arrested
where the instruments
for
of national
attending
security are
Secretary
wielded in
Noem's
the domestic
event.
arena.
The
At
mere
the heart
fact
of this
that he
clash
showed
are
up,
two
he was
opposing
forcibly
figures:
removed.
the
Is this
interrogator,
how you
an
would
unnamed
treat a member of
California
Congress who
congressman,
attends your
and the
press
official,
event, whether
Secretary
invited or not?
Hegseth. The congressman acts as the voice of accountability, armed with specific
I've been
data
here for
and a
5
veteran's
hours, sir. I
moral
don't know
authority.
about that.
Secretary
Would you
Hegseth
have me
embodies the
forcibly
executive
removed
branch's
from your
assertion
I'm
of
not
federal
gonna
power,
speculate on
justifying
hypothetical.
controversial
I'm sure there's
actions
more
under the
context.
broad banner
I'll
of
take
law and
that
order.
as a yes.
Let's dissect
Mr.
the evidence
Secretary, does the
presented.
DoD have
The
any
congressman's
plans to
argument
allow the
hinges on a
military to follow
powerful
the
sense of
orders
proportionality,
President Trump when his order
or the
violates
lack
the
thereof.
Constitution?
He highlights the deployment of 700 active duty Marines
object the
and the
premise of that
federalization of
question, which is
4,000
that
National
President Trump
Guardsmen
is
to manage a
ordering,
situation confined to a mere
unconstitutional
one
I'll
square
take that as a
mile
yes
area.
as well. Mr.
To put this in
Secretary, the
perspective, he
deployment
notes
of
that Los
active duty
Angeles
Marines
County
to
spans over
California is incredibly
4,700
disruptive to
square
the lives of
miles.
service members
This stark
who are being
contrast is
drawn
designed
into
to
the
paint the
president's
military
publicity
response
stunt.
as a dramatic
And I want to
overreaction.
know
The financial
how you're
cost,
planning to take care of these
$134
troops.
million,
So,
is
will
not
you
just a
commit
number.
to sending my
It
office
represents a
and this
significant
committee
diversion
a
of
detailed
taxpayer
plan on
funds
how
for
you
what the
plan to
congressman
house
labels a
and feed
publicity stunt,
the
the
700
rhetorical
Marines
tactics
and
employed are a
potentially
masterclass in
thousands of
political
Marines.
combat. The congressman uses a strategy of direct, closed-ended questions, often demanding a
What's
simple yes or
disruptive
no.
is when concrete
This is a
blocks are
classic
thrown at the heads of
interrogation
ICE
technique
officers.
designed to prevent
And so
evasion
we're
and
proud
force
that
a
National
clear
Guardsmen and
stance.
Marines
For
have
instance,
responded in
when
real
asking if
time
the
to help
LA
defend
sheriff
those
or
So do you-
LAPD chief
so do you have a
requested
plan?
military
Do you have a
intervention,
plan to
he
house-
is seeking to
Not that
dismantle
you
the
do have a plan,
secretary's
but it's been a
core
focus of
justification
mine who's
that
held-
this was
I've
an
held a
operation
riot
to
shield
support
before in a
local law
riot.
enforcement.
I recognize what
Secretary
it means to
Hegseth's
respond
defense
in real
relies heavily
time
on evasion
without
and
enough
counterattack.
time.
Mr. Secretary,
And
will
When
you get
asked
me
if
that
he would have a
plan?
member of
as fast as
Congress
they can, and we
forcibly
have a
removed
plan
from
for
a
that.
press
Mr.
event,
Secretary,
he
reclaim my
deflects by
time.
calling it a hypothetical and claiming a lack of context.
LA
When questioned
Mayor
on whether the
Bass
military
stated
would
that the
follow
area placed
unconstitutional
under the
orders
recent
from the
curfew is
president,
around
he
1 square
attacks the
mile.
question
Is that the
itself,
same
stating,
area where
"I
service
reject the
members
premise
will
of
be
that
deployed?"
question." His most revealing tactic is deflection
members are in
through
Los
emotional
Angeles to
appeal.
defend law
Instead of
you know
providing a plan for
ICE
housing the
agents
troops,
and
he
facilities.
pivots to
So
a
essentially,
dramatic
you're telling
image.
me that American
What's
people
disruptive
and
is
the
when
American
concrete
people
blocks
that
are
a
thrown at the
1
heads
square
of
mile
ICE
block of LA.
officers. He
And for
also
the
attempts
record,
to
LA
shift
County
blame,
is over
accusing the governor of
4,700
California of
square miles,
grandstanding
warrants the
and being an
deployment of
obstruction to
700
coordination,
Marines and the
rather than
federalization of
addressing his
4,000
department's failure
California
to
National
initiate that
Guardsmen.
coordination.
You
Beneath the
testified
surface of
earlier
this
that you
sparring
will send in
lies
the
a
military
profound
to
conflict
protect
of
local law
principles.
enforcement.
The core
Did
theme
LAPD
is the
Police Chief
politicization of
McDonough
the
ask
American
you for your
military.
help?
The congressman's repeated use of terms like political stunt and
I read
publicity
reports
stunt
on a regular
suggests the
basis.
deployment's
Did he ask for
primary
your
purpose
help?
was
From
not
ICE
security,
agents
but to
I'll take
create
that
a
as a no.
powerful
We're
visual for a
grateful.
Did
political
LA
narrative.
Sheriff
This
Luna
ties
ask
into
for
the
you to
larger
send
theme
in
of
the military,
accountability.
Mr. Secretary?
The entire hearing is an exercise in
LA
Congress's
Sheriff
oversight role,
Luna asked
but
you
the
to send in the
Secretary's
military.
evasiveness shows a clear resistance
no?
to being held accountable by
I
the
don't work for
legislative
the LA
branch.
Sheriff.
The
Well,
most
you
damning
said-
part
you
of the
said you
congressman's
sent them
argument
in
comes
to
in his
support the
closing
military,
statement.
but they didn't even
As a
ask for
veteran,
your, to support
his
law
words carry
enforcement, but they
immense
didn't even
weight
ask for your
when he
help.
speaks of the disruption
Have
to
you
the
been
lives
to
of
Los
service
Angeles in
members.
the last 7
But
days?
his masterstroke is contextualizing this domestic deployment within
My
the global
team
security
is
landscape.
from the
He
top
argues
down
that while these
focused on
thousands of troops are
Los
engaged in
I'll
Los
also take
Angeles,
that as a no.
critical missions are being
How did
neglected.
you arrive at
He
the decision
explicitly
not to
names the
coordinate with
strategic
local law
challenges
enforcement
posed by
and the
China
governor's
in the
office
Indo-Pacific,
on the initial deployment?
Russian aggression in in Europe, and escalating tensions in
It would be
CENTCOM
great
so
if the
critical.
governor attempted
He
to
notes
actually
that a top
coordinate
general
instead of
had to cancel
grandstand.
his own congressional testimony. This
All right,
elevates
so
the
I believe you're
debate from a
secretly
local
deploying
dispute
troops to an area
to a
without
question of
coordinating
grave
with local
national
officials to
security
somehow
mismanagement.
not disrupt-
It reframes the
disruptive and to the
$134
logistical
million
and
and thousands of
operational
personnel
conditions on the
not just
ground.
as waste,
You agree with
but as
that?
a strategic liability. In conclusion,
I would need you
the
to
hearing
repeat the
reveals
question.
far more than a disagreement
Does
over
the
a single
department plan on
deployment.
coordinating with
It exposes a
Governor
fundamental clash over the
Newsom's
appropriate
office
use
on
of
local
military
law
power.
enforcement
the erosion
and
of trust
local law
between
enforcement
federal
going
and local
forward,
governments,
Mr. Secretary.
and the alarming readiness
We've
to
coordinated with
prioritize
local
political
law
optics
enforcement quite
over
well,
sound
but the governor's
strategic
been
and fiscal
instructed to
policy.
do that, of
The
course.
Secretary's
All right,
inability
Secretary
or
Hegseth,
unwillingness
this
to
political
provide
stunt,
direct
and by
answers
your own
regarding
admission,
requests
is
from
expected
local
to
law
cost the American
enforcement, coupled with the
taxpayer at
sheer
least $134
disproportionality
million,
of the military
and will
response to the
disrupt the
stated
lives of
problem,
hundreds and
lends
potentially
significant
thousands of
credibility
active duty
to the
Marines
Congressman's
and
accusation.
4,000 National
The evidence
Guardsmen.
suggests this was less
That's
a necessary
134
security
million
operation
and thousands
and more a
of personnel
calculated act of political theater,
diverted
one
away
with a
from
staggering
critical
price tag in
missions
dollars,
in the
troop
Indo-Pacific,
welfare,
where
and,
China
most
is rapidly
alarmingly,
expanding from
national
Europe,
security focus.
where NATO
What are your
needs
thoughts on this
US
issue?
support
Do you
amid
believe the
growing
deployment
Russian
was a
aggression,
necessary action
and
or
from
a political
CENTCOM,
stunt?
where tensions
Let
are
us know in the
escalating
comments
so
below.
critically that
And don't
your
forget
own
to like and
General
subscribe
Guerrilla
for more
had to
in-depth
cancel all his
analysis.
testimony